oh my. I can immediately pop that on. I should have checked. Glowing. Attack delay is at 1.1. So we are slowed down by something here, unfortunately. Not enough that the game is even recognizing it and letting us know, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, I screw, how's it going? Could maybe just train a little bit more shields. Oh, Evo's about to hit the cap we set for it anyway, so let's do it. Let's get prepped. As soon as we find a kite shield, we'll be, you know, primed and ready to make the change we want to see in the world. So let's give that one a good old college try and see how she goes, I guess. Hello, my ice statue friend. I do love, you know, I'm too lazy to really take manual control here, so I'm more than happy to just hand the reins off to the almighty powers of the Auto Explorer. I do love when you clear something like that, that's very obviously a bit of a gateway into something good, and Auto Explorer is like, nah, I'm good, honestly. But we have 1,000 gold. This is not a timed gate. So we should probably wait until we've collected just a little bit more money, right? I think we will. I will return if I remember to do so, but you know, fingers crossed and all that. Ooh, brand weapon scroll. Again, there's the temptation to use it on one of the ARB lists that we were looking at earlier. There's no real guarantee that we'll have a nice, you know, collection of brand weapon scrolls, so my usual self that's still buried deep down inside of me, despite us trying to be a little bit more, you know, frivolous with the usage of our consumables, that little old me inside is saying, hold out hope for a triple crossbow. The triple crossbow will eventually show up, right? One can dream. Start to catch me live. Well, I'm glad to see you as well, my friend. You almost got mad at the game today, but then you thought, what would Torinski do? Oh, I appreciate the thought. But yeah, definitely the game can have that effect sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's all part of the fun is what that's the copium that I imbibe to just keep the ball rolling here. And you know, keep saying that to myself often enough, and it's somehow become very much the truth of the matter. Gotta enjoy the little things, enjoy the deaths as they roll in. Because hey, if everything goes according to plan, there may come a day when you will never see that death screen ever again. So, you know, fingers crossed. Maybe not the most realistic of dreams, but I'm still holding out hope, I guess, on to some capacity. Let's pick up the tower shield. It's a little bit tempting for us to just keep churning and burning that shield skill until we can use the tower shield. I mean, regardless, that is obviously the end goal here. That's the end state that we're aiming for. Triple crossbow in one hand, tower shield in the other. Every Formicid stream. Interesting. I mean, we have an okay amount of strength as a Formicid. That's the other nice thing about the Formicid Hunter is I feel like you can kind of get away with things slightly more than you otherwise could on other ranged characters. Just because high base strength, you know, allows you to wear slightly more cumbersome armor as well as the shields, of course. It's tempting, all right. I'm kind of curious. Let's take a peek at just how much of an impact that has on us. We're at 1.1 for our attacks now. It takes us to 1.3. That's not actually as bad as I was expecting. My brain is like frantically rolling through the numbers here, trying to debate if it's, you know, a worthy change for us, because it's definitely tempting. Going up to 20 shielding, nice and early on here. Can also block up to 4 times per turn with the tower shield. Oof. I mean, how can I refuse? Heavier armor affects the ranged combat formula so much, though. Yeah, it's pretty up there for sure. I forget, it was a long while back now, but I remember talking about like Golden Dragon scales. How much like armor training and strength would you need to be able to use them without affecting your ranged weapons? And I'm pretty sure it's not realistically feasible, because I think you need like infinite strength essentially, and regardless you'd just be approaching no negative impact. And I don't know if you can actually get it down to 0 there. It's probably not worth it. It's like a little bit too slow. Brings our evasion down slightly as well. Let's stick to the buckler just temporarily. We'll get a little bit more training under our belt, and then we can you know, make the change. We'll see how that goes. Not too shabby here. One more regular dungeon floor might as well. Continue, you know, while we're here, while we're at it, let's just take our head down, get crunching through the rest of the job. Beautiful. Ooh, and another scroll. Maybe, just maybe, this is the acquirement that I've been hoping for this entire time. Don't really know what I'd want out of acquirement, I guess, besides a similarly enchanted, better ranged weapon could be nice. Which, now that I've said it, is the obvious answer, so let's hope for, yeah, an artifact longbow, artifact triple crossbow could even happen. Scroll of silence, so not yet, but still, maybe one day in the near future we'll have access to that and see if we can't, loot box our way to victory, shall we? Amulet of Faith, I probably have pretty middling to no interest in using you, my friend. Ooh, and some ambrosia. You know, I got extremely excited seeing the potion of ambrosia there, because I've been playing a little bit of Noida off stream. I've been trying to get into like god runs and things like that, so definitely just needlessly stoked to see the ambrosia, which I'm sure that makes no sense to anyone who hasn't played Noida much, but oof, and I should definitely have been handling this with some more care. Oh no. Well, let's heal wounds. Let's blind you again, my friend, or just kill you. That works out great as well. Oh my gosh. Hello, wizard. Hello, raiders. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, whether that be Sunday or Monday on your end. Not sure who all is already in here, but I'll give it a moment for Wizard to switch over, if they are. I don't know, I always feel weird about that. I never want to put any pressure on people to stick around after raiding, because, hey, you just went through a long stream on your end. I think you deserve a little bit of R&R, really. Especially on days like this for me, because I know, you know, in the back of my head, I'm thinking about the raid that will inevitably be performing relatively soon here, even. And unfortunately, I have a boatload of tasks and things to finish off before the weekend ends on my end, so we'll have to do something similar there. Hey, Wizard, how's it going? Is this the first game of the stream? It is. Yeah, it's been going pretty smoothly so far, just sprinting our way through the dungeon. I mean, getting nice and lucky early on. This +5 heavy short bow was in a shop, so we already brought ourselves basically to min delay by the time we found it. And so we got, what was this? A D8 Arbalist, essentially. Except I guess slightly better, because we at least have the increased accuracy bonus, both from the enchantment and base on the short bow there as well. So pretty fantastic stuff for us. And it has definitely carried this run to pretty solid heights so far. Unfortunately, we're not going to be here too much longer today. It is just going to be a shorter one for me. I was actually, I saw you were on when we started off here today, and I was hoping that I could repay you for some of the raids you've sent our way recently and send some folks your direction, but unfortunately a little bit too slow on my end. But I do appreciate you dropping on by. I guess I kind of get in the zone of the usual routine here. But I should say, I mean, most people in the DCSS community on Twitch probably are already fairly familiar with everyone who streams the category, but in case you aren't, hello, my name's Torinski. Welcome. Unfortunately, you're going to be seeing play that's a hell of a lot worse than what you were witnessing over on Wizard's side, but, we have fun, at the very least, even despite my tendency to inevitably pilot these sons of guns into the ground. At least have a bit of a good time while we do so. And definitely we'll pick up the Reflection brand. I actually probably should have taken a better look. Like, Regeneration is technically my go-to favorite option, but we'll have pretty wild shielding score, especially once I feel confident enough to switch over to the tower shield here. Oh me oh my. We'll play it by ear as we continue on. Ranged Formicids are always fun. It's very quickly become one of my favorite combinations. I mean, this one in particular, going with Ranged Formicids. Yikes. I need to kill the snakes. Perfect. Then we are heading off into the unknown, which is not great. But these sons of guns are at least slow enough that we can gain a little bit of distance, and there's not that much unknown territory between us and where we've previously explored. It's not the end of the world. Still playing a little fast and loose here overall, but that's fine. But I should finish that sentiment. Essentially, the Formicid of the Shining One that uses ranged weaponry is one of my new favorite 15 rune characters. It's kind of funny in general. There was a long period of time where I was kind of under the impression that the only 15 rune victories I would ever personally really manage were spellcasters. Because, you want your Maxwell's capacitive coupling, you want your destructive AoE that can clear the entire screen, your shatters and whatnot. But as of late, I've definitely pulled a little bit of a 180 in that regard. I mean, obviously there's still all those things I just said are still the case. It's still very much true. But I really like the Rangers of TSO. Feel pretty solid across the board. And then for melee, my go-to 15 rune background, or I guess character in general, is a Vinestalker of Uskaya. I find just absurdly powerful. I mean, Grand Finale kind of speaks for itself. It is to the Vinestalker what Maxwell's capacitive coupling is to any spellcaster. Of course, it's a little more situational just because you have to go with Uskaya versus Maxwell's. You can kind of pair with anything that floats your boat, but regardless, it's definitely a pretty solid combo overall. As I just furiously tab my way through these fights, I am just begging for another Guardian Serpent to show up and put us into a bit of hot water, but so far, things are kind of on the up and up. Especially since the next time we see one, what we should try to remember in time and perform is phoning in some friends. If we can just get a couple angels by our side, not only do they block adjacent spots around our character and kind of give us a little bit more safety in numbers, but they also, of course, have pretty wild damage output. If you can get a couple Devas into the situation, that is very quickly a way to stabilize an otherwise terrifying endeavor. Well, I don't really need the fears right now, but I'd like to mark them, same with the fog scroll. I was gonna just buy them all up, and then I remembered that we do have that bizarre portal that we left by the wayside earlier. So let's just try to keep that in mind and potentially save up a little bit of cash in the interim period. Make it worth our while. Potion of Lig. I mean, Berserk, I was holding on to it because early game, that can kind of save your life, especially since, you know, we found things like this +8 rapier very early on. But it is very much kind of past its window of opportunity, I feel, so let's start clearing out our inventory. I wouldn't be surprised, and in fact, I'm not even going to check now because I'm just sure it is the case, but wouldn't be surprised if we're still lugging around a bunch of completely useless equipment that we have no inclination to use at any point in our future. That's fine. We're also just haphazardly sprinting headfirst into combat with these shock serpents, which is not the most intelligent move that we've ever made on the stream here, and that's saying a whole lot, because I make some terrible decisions on the daily here. But nonetheless, somehow, some way, somehow, we've managed to survive up until this stage, so thank our lucky stars, and just take that as it is, I guess. I'm trying to just keep out of sight range of the other snakes that are coming in. I mean, it's slightly dangerous, and I probably should just Cleansing Flame our Anaconda pal. Specifically, though, I wanted to stay out of range of the mage here, because they could have hasted, but as long as they can't see us, they're not going to do so. And so we can continue to kind of bait the range on them and stay out of sight, out of mind as much as possible. Not too bad whatsoever. Let's head back to these gloves. Oh my gosh, gloves of dexterity. That is pretty dang huge. Oh, if we can take care of our other friend first. Beautiful. Let's actually, just for safety's sake, we'll head back to our stairwell before throwing those bad boys on. Beautiful. And now we're sitting at 39 base damage rating. Not too shabby whatsoever. We're still using our early game weapon and everything. But okay. Summon our warrior. In fact, I'm going to summon 2 warriors. Let's play it safe. Turned out to be a little bit unnecessary, I would say. But still more than happy to play it a little bit on the safe side, especially since these buddies might stick around for long enough here to be of more use. Maybe, just maybe. Not so much if I'm just going to kill everything the moment I see it, but again, I guess that's a kind of just a good problem to have. Can't exactly complain. Let's head down into Snake 4 again. We're just rampaging through here so far. Don't know how much longer that will continue. I could see this being where my haste and hubris catches up with me to a large extent. Ooh, especially, yeah, Shock Serpent and Tyrant both coming in. We have no real resistances to speak of. So those two alone could very quickly cause us some trouble. I guess you have 55 health. I'm just trying to think, like, could we potentially try to simplify this fight for our future? It's tempting. I guess I'm currently in a relative safe spot, or a relatively safe spot, I should say. If I can just blind both of those two, that might actually give me the security blanket I was looking for here to just blast you into the next plane of existence. Beautiful. And you know what, let's just get one more blast while we're at it. 2 more blasts, of course, is what I meant. 3 more blasts, and that does the trick. Beautiful. Oh, hello, my friends. Didn't realize we left some friendly faces on the previous floor. Well, fortunately, able to take care of them, and now we just have to cross our fingers that we don't have any more Shock Serpents or Tyrants. Wouldn't that be nice? Of course, odds are that we'll still run into some less than illustrious scenarios here as we continue onwards. At least the minus telly is not exactly the end of the world one way or another. Joke's on you, game. don't got no stinking telly. Okay. What I did there, by the way, kids, not intelligent. You know, do as I say, not as I do. Again, as soon as we saw the Guardian Serpent, that was probably a good time to start calling in some friends, because we had a lot of scary enemies all in the close vicinity, and we would have immediately been surrounded by potentially, you know, 6 shock serpents or something crazy like that. So maybe not the best move on my end, but let's double check how Tower Shield is looking now. Brings us up to 31 shielding, and it only slightly slows our attacks. I think that's gonna do it for me. Wait a second, I just passed by a magic tower shield. Hold please. Hold please. And its protection. I will definitely grab that, thank you kindly. Switch over to that bad boy, bringing our AC up to a pretty solid 18 as well. Fantastic. Well, well, well. This isn't a run that I'm immediately gonna nosedive into the ground in the near future, then honestly, I don't know what is. Especially, yeah, getting +2 boots as well. Holy moly. Things just ramped up in the last few minutes to a much more feasible position when it comes to potential victory. I'm trying to, you know, cushion our language a little bit here. Let's not bait karma into immediately throwing everything in the kitchen sink our direction. But, you know, as long as that doesn't end up being the case, I'm feeling pretty dang good at the moment.